I've got a dog, I've got a wife, so I'm a vlog about my life. It's for fun, it's not for fame. And every day I'm gonna do it the same. They call me Iska, call me Iska, call me Iska, call me Iska. Hey, what's up? So it's, what day is it? It's Thursday night. My wife is at school right now, and I decided to check out my YouTube account because I haven't done it in weeks. Come to find out, I had lots of, you know what's funny? Every time I start vlogging, as soon as I start recording and start talking, this guy comes out of his little bed and wants to see what's going on. Hey, what are you doing? He goes, what are you doing? You're talking to nobody. Anyway, came back to my YouTube account and I, excuse me, when I start talking, I get all horsey, if that makes any sense. Checked my inbox, and I had a lot of friend requests and stuff, which was kind of cool. But I got a lot of views from my starting a screen printing video, so I decided to make a response because I got a couple questions from people. So I'm gonna read you these questions, and I'm gonna answer them as best as I can according to my knowledge, just off the cuff, because I actually haven't. I read these kind of, but I didn't really, look up any information about it. I probably should have before I started vlogging. Maybe I'll do another video or something. But anyway, I just wanted to help these guys out, and I don't want to type all the answers. I might as well just share it with everybody because they were kind of the same question. But anyway, first question I got is from somebody who just put TY. He says, or he or she says, probably he, because he has this icon of some big guy. But anyway, we are, as we speak, trying to start our own screen printing business. We don't have much right now, but we do have $2,500. Any advice for us would greatly be appreciated. $2,500 is actually a really good, it's a good starting capital for what you want to do. Let me tell you my personal recommendation for you, okay? The reason why my business was able to take off the way it has been, again, I'm not claiming that I'm some genius business, owner or whatever, but, I feel like I've accomplished a good amount in the last 3 years, being as old as I am. But anyway, one of the things that really helped me take off my business was the way I projected my business. And you might be thinking, like, what the heck does that mean? When I first started the business, one of the first things I did was create a website. Now, it's not fair for some people because I actually knew how to do web design. I've always been a really graphic-oriented person. I love drawing, I love painting. And I knew a lot about the internet. I've always been a computer person too. So I was able to build my own website. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because I could have had the best equipment in the world, but if I wasn't promoting myself right, or I wasn't marketing myself right, or I wasn't conveying an identity to my customers that was right, I wouldn't have got business, and I would have just sat on my equipment, and my business would have died. You got to have potential clients, and you got to know who your clientele are, and you got to know what they want to see from you. And at first, my potential clients, or the ones that I wanted to get, were bands. I started doing business for bands and for people who didn't want to spend a lot of money in screen printing. I mean, I was doing this out of my parents' house when I first started, and I didn't really have a lot of overhead at the time. So, I could print for cheap. I'm that guy who's printing out of his garage. Those guys now are sometimes the pain in our butts because they don't have any overhead and they charge, 2 cents for prints when really they should charge a little bit more because it's a business and your time is valuable. But anyway, $2,500 is great starting capital. But just because I'm telling you to make a website doesn't mean I want you to spend your money on a website. It means just think about that for a second. Try to find a domain. Think of a good business name, a good personality for your business. Get that started and think about how you're going to promote it. Now go ahead and start purchasing equipment. But I highly recommend starting with used equipment. Don't go and buy brand new equipment. You don't need it. Especially manual presses. A lot of those manual presses are built, out of steel. You don't need to buy brand new. You just don't. I recommend micro registrations. You're going to want a micro registration on your press. Don't do what I did and buy a cheap, crappy press from Tijuana that had no micro registrations. I was able to get maybe 2 colors out of it. It was a 4-color press. I could not line up 4 colors unless, you know, the colors didn't touch, or, you know, like maybe the was red and then, you know, vlog was in blue, you know, is in green, cool, you know, in some other color. But anyway, the thing is, you want to make sure that you buy a press that has micro registrations. You probably don't need to buy to start your business unless you know, unless you're already educated. You don't need to buy more than like a 4-color press with micro registrations. Buy a 4-color press, micro registrations, and start there. Start with wooden screens. Go to, I don't know, you know, for me, I had a local sign screen shop that was able to sell me some frames and stuff, and buy maybe a cheap used flash dryer, okay? Because this is going to help with the next person who asked me a question. But a flash, a flash dryer is really important. There's no way around a flash dryer, really. There are some people that have built flash dryers. I tried building one. It didn't last me too long. I was fortunate enough to get a used one from a friend for basically for free. But anyway, $2,500 is really good starting capital. Just be really wary of what you're buying. Make sure you see the press before you buy it. Try it out, you know, move it around, see if it's stable. You're going to want to make sure your press is stable, and you want to make sure it's going to hold registration. Those are really important things to think about. But anyway, I don't have all the time in the world. I'm going to go on to the next question. I am sure there's lots more information I could give you, but that's a good starting point, I think. So the second question was from Kyle, and he said, hey, I just watched your video and was nice to hear that someone started out screen printing without buying a kit for thousands of dollars. I'm a sophomore in college in South Carolina. I'm very interested in starting a screen printing business. I was wondering if you could tell me, when you first started, did you buy a flash dryer and a conveyor dryer, or did you find a DIY way to do it? Thanks for your help. When I very first started, the very first thing I did was I bought water-based ink. I know it sounds like, oh, I don't want water-based ink. I bought a little bit of it just because I needed to learn how to do it. You need, like I said in my video, you need to invest in your education. I needed to learn how to screen print. I didn't know how to do it too well. So I bought water-based ink, tried printing like 50 shirts. I bought like 50 shirts for cheap, and I printed 50, and I timed how long it took me to print 50 because I wanted to know how much to charge, because I wanted to know how long it would take me to do something. So I started there. But if you're talking about, you know, investing in equipment you're going to use specifically for selling, you're going to want a flash dryer at bare minimum. Okay? And the reason why I say bare minimum is because you can essentially cure your ink on a shirt with just a flash dryer. You don't necessarily need a conveyor dryer to print. Why we used to do when I first started, and I had this cheap flash dryer I got, is I would print my print, right? And when I was done, I would take it off the pallet. I would place the shirt on the pallet, like the whole entire shirt on top of the pallet, not like slide it back in. I would place it on top, and I would put it under the flash dryer until it was cured. And you knew when it was cured when the plastisol reached, you know, 320 degrees or so, depending on what plastisol ink you're using. So bare minimum, get a flash dryer. Conveyor dryers are expensive, but once you build your business up to a point where you're actually getting some business and you can afford it, go and buy a conveyor dryer. But for now, just look for a used flash dryer, something that's going to work, something that's going to cure your ink. A lot of people tell you can't do that. That's cheating. You can do it. I did it. I got away with it. That's my recommendation to you. I did try, like I said, building a DIY flash dryer. It wasn't really worth my time. Didn't work. But I think that's about it. Keep up the good questions if you have any more. Those are really good questions, and I could probably go on a long time about this information. But if you have more questions, feel free to send them to me, or you can make a response video or something. But hopefully that helped. Just wanted to get some of that information out to you guys, because that's really what I got in my inbox, are questions about screen printing. So hope that video helped you, and good luck, because you're going to need it. No, I'm just kidding. It'll be fun, I swear. Until you have 10,000 shirts at your door and they want them by Friday. That's the worst.